What is good, YouTube? It's your boy P Kid with my man Stefan Ladon. It's a
Yes,
late
sir.
start. We know it's a late start, man. But it's consistency is the mother of all breakthroughs. We promised you all a daily show. You gonna get this daily show. It's big, but wait, somebody ain't gonna get no time. We're gonna get this daily show out.
Hey,
But we got a
hey,
lot to talk about right now, man. We got several of the Chicago Bears who've come out pretty much in defense of Justin Fields. Now they ain't really directly say it, but they said it. You get what I'm saying? We got several of that. We got to react to Pat calling out Cap. If you haven't seen it, we got to drop that link. Pat calling out Kaplan on on ESPN 1000. It was a time. I think that I have to be honest, as a friend of the brother, that was his best video he's ever made.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
We
definitely.
gotta we gotta react to that,
He was
and
cooking.
we finally gotta admit it may be time for the Bulls to kind of just go ahead and blow this up because you ain't gonna get nothing back for him, man. So this ain't finna happen, dog. But again, that's what's on the docket. We appreciate everyone who stuck around. Again, hour late, but we're gonna give you all this good content. Steph, I'm gonna give you the floor, baby. You've seen it. We know what we're talking about. Several of the Chicago Bears have come out defending Justin Fields. What are your thoughts? Especially since you over there looking GQ smooth with the glasses and stuff like that. This man
Hey,
trying to
man.
riz me up. Pause. Why you trying to riz me up?
Glasses,
I'm
glasses and the Bears cap. I told y'all. I'm coming.
what is
I'm
you
coming with the
doing?
Bears and Bulls merch. But nah, man.
Go ahead, man.
But nah, man. When I look at it, man, it's literally just like at this point when you hear the other players on the team rally around Justin like that, and then I couple that with the fact of what we heard from Pose last week about him saying that Justin has the capability to lead this team. He is one of the leaders on this team. I liken it to if your stars are saying this, your Pro Bowl wide receivers,
Yep.
everybody on the team is saying this, and he's all there's no questions about him being a leader in the locker room, but you have questions about a certain somebody that may be drafted number one at QB. The obvious choice is for him to is possibly for Pose to back Justin because one, if you have to understand he's already came out and said Pose, by the way, like the year before they got DJ Moore, he's already done it with his legs. Now we need to see him do it with his arm. He's had the connection with DJ Moore. Then after that, you see that he's made the plays. He's a leader in the locker room, and you see that the defense and the full on team is also rally behind him. And then I feel like the players are making the clear choice. Hey, you need to rally around Justin because I'm really not feeling another change because they
Mm-hmm.
know that if they do move on from him and he goes somewhere else in balls, that might be Pose's job. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just how I'm looking at it.
Absolutely. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Baki over there breaking some news. I saw V Dog breaking some news. I saw that too. Mike McCarthy might be staying in with the Cowboys, which is wild, by the way. But we'll get
Wild.
into that in a second. But absolutely right. Several of the players have already said their piece on this, and Jalen Johnson specifically when he was on Keyshawn Johnson's All Breaks all gas, no break, whatever it was. I got to get the name right on it. But
Yeah.
Keyshawn Johnson has a podcast. You all go check it out. It's good stuff. I want to make sure I appropriately plug him at least. But he mentioned realistically when he's talking about Justin Fields, his situation going into his fourth year, having three different coordinators, things of that nature. Talking about not necessarily having the pieces around him and not having any consistency. And he even mentioned how tough it was for him, right? He briefly mentioned it's tough for him. So imagine that as a young QB who has, the responsibilities that they have. Here's the
Absolutely.
one thing I will say, because I've been someone who has been pegged as a Justin Fields hater when that's really never been my stance. But I've also been one that's been very pro organization at times. And the reason I say that is because, realistically, you have to look at it. And Pat mentioned to himself, he's a Bears fan. I'm a Bears fan. And sometimes doing what's right is making those hard decisions. And I could envision a future where that made sense to move off of him. But with some of the things that David Kaplan was actually saying, and the reason why this is even a topic now is realistically, he just went too hard. He just went way too hard on the expectation of like realistically what Caleb Williams is. And by the way, I am not a Caleb Williams fan. I think there's a lot of hype to that situation.
Mhm.
I'm not saying he's not good. I think there's a lot of hype. But as it pertains to Justin Fields, DJ Moore has come out said it several times on several different platforms. On two different platforms that we definitely heard it. On interviews, we've definitely heard it. Post game interviews, like you've heard it. One of the biggest things that they've all consistently said is they've all indirectly addressed the coaching and the situation he was in. And as we've heard time and time again, coaching matters, play calling matters. And so there is a strong case to be made for Justin Fields. And that's one of the reasons why I definitely, and by the way, Mitch, I don't know.
Mitch. Oh
Mitch,
my gosh.
hey, Mitch came in and dropped a bag. What the hey,
A
Mitch,
hundo
you
ball?
ruined my take. That's how impressive it was. Big bag. I gotta stop for a second. He said, what's annoying about Caps right is he's saying all these guys who analyze for a living say Caleb is it. Same dudes who said Bryce was generational. Meanwhile, how about actual players? Keyshawn, Long Bros. You're absolutely right. By the way, Mitch, thank you for supporting
Hey,
Winnie
appreciate it, man.
Breeze's.
That's love.
Hey man, we definitely. I think
That's
that has
love.
been the biggest donation so far. So, biggest single donation. We have some people who've been supporting us for a long time.
Yeah.
Don't want to disrespect them, but we definitely appreciate your support. Thank you for that. But like realistically, that's exactly what it is. We see players, actual players, who defend Justin Fields, not even from the sense of, oh, he's good, this, that, and the other. It's one of those situations where you can look at his situation around him and see that he's not good. This is coming from someone who defended Mitch. I defended Mitchell Trubisky to high heck. I've been in here. Y'all saw
This
me
is
defend Mitch.
factual.
I died on that
This is
hill alone.
factual.
Right? Listen, shut up. Leave me alone. Right? And so I had to go back and I had to look at my own situation. I defended Mitch and I said, look at what they had around him at times. And now when I sit there and I'm like, man, I'm really holding Justin to a different standard than what I held Mitch to.
Right.
That was very hypocritical of me to actually do. Now, I still may feel that with this opportunity that Pose has,
Over
that
100 in the chat.
organizationally, over 100 in the chat, big dub to y'all, man. Listen, our relationship
100.
got out of hand.
100.
I still may feel that particular way. I still may feel like, hey, this may be the opportunity for Pose to right the ship for the Bears organization. But again, I think it would have to come at the expense of the Chicago Bears having to admit that they didn't do right by Justin.
Oh
And
no, yeah.
unfortunately, that happens in this business. It sucks, but they would have to really sit there and say, hey, we messed this kid up. We didn't do the right thing, and we have the opportunity to kind of correct that. That would be the reason why I would be for Poles actually moving away, because we didn't do him right. We didn't give him a good situation at
So,
all.
so you're saying Pose will move on from Justin in that sense.
I'm saying that I understand it. I'm not saying
Yeah,
I'm for.
yeah.
I'm saying that whatever he does, he has to make that decision. I don't think it's right for us to sit there and look at Justin's situation and judge him as harshly as we have, because
Mhm.
we know that as Bears fans, our organization was a very bad organization. I don't care what anyone says. We were a trash organization. We
Yeah.
didn't even have a legit org structure until the last 2-3 years. Let's be real. Like until Kevin won all the game, we were still very
This is
mom
a
and pop.
fact.
So I mean,
This is a
like,
fact.
you're a $1 billion organization ran like a mom and pop shop. That don't work. That don't work in today's league. All right, I get it. But I understand ultimately the business of it and what that means. And so realistically, it's one of those things where I feel for Justin as a person, because if I was Justin, I wouldn't want to be in this situation. I wouldn't want the back and forth and things of that nature. But I would want, like, if Pose is going to keep him, just keep him. Like, let's get that over with. Like,
Yeah.
let's do that part, because now this is going to be the loudest how many months to the draft?
We got draft in April 3.
It's going to be the loudest segment to then. Can you imagine? We're going to be talking about this every day for the
Yeah.
next 90 plus days. If
Hey,
my math
but
is correct. Forgive me if it's not. It could be longer. That's frustrating. Justin can't even go. Justin can't open Twitter without seeing him being potentially traded.
yeah, bro, it's nasty work. But I mean, listen. these are the decisions that at the end of the day you're left with because I mean, let's be honest, it's not even just a decision about the quarterback. He also felt like he also feels like he has the right decision at coach. And I mean, if Poles feels like he has the right decision at coach. And if you're looking at it, I mean, Bills on the market. Sirianni might be on the market. Mike Brable's still on the market. You don't we don't know what's gonna happen with Mike Tomlin. So it's like he's making these decisions on the fly. But I'll go back to something that Pat has been saying this entire time. If you're gonna trust Poles, I mean, you gotta trust Poles. And I think at the end of the day, some of you Bears fans, not all, some are stuck on the fact that the wild card weekend passed and we saw Jordan Love go off. We saw Jared Goff go off. We even saw CJ Stroud go off to an extent. But those are everybody's talking about the QBs.
Hold on. Ain't no to an extent. That man cooked.
No, no, no.
Literally, hey,
He
CJ
cooked.
Stroud
No,
cooked.
no,
I'm
no. Yeah, he
sorry.
cooked. My fault. My
I'm
fault.
sorry.
I'm
I
just
got to
saying he
give him his
cooked.
flowers.
He
That
cooked.
man cooked. As a
He cooked.
rookie,
Yeah,
Jesus.
he cooked. He cooked. Nah, but yeah, he goes off. But I think the thing that everybody's missing is everybody wants to talk about. Oh my God, the Packers, they got Jordan Love. They got another franchise QB. Jared Goff looks good. CJ Stroud looks good. You know what they got around them?
Mhm.
A team. It's not just a QB because let's be honest. Everything that we are saying about Justin Fields right now, we're literally saying about Caleb Williams. So even if Justin does leave and you do waste that number one pick on Caleb and the team isn't built, I mean, come on now, you still stuck in the same situation. It's about the team. That notice when I said it the other day about what happened in the wild card games, and we had the question of where were the Bears after this weekend, realistically to you. I was talking about the team. But both teams in the NFC are far and away better built than the Bears are right now. I'm not gonna say that the defense isn't coming along because it is, but until you build that team around them and plug in that piece where it's like, okay, all we got the run game, all we
Mhm.
need is a Jared Goff, or oh, we got the O line, all we need is a Jordan Love and a couple of receivers with Aaron Jones. Now you're looking at okay, we could be at the top of the NFC, not just for this year, but for years to come.
And you know what? Here's the funny thing. I agree with all of that. Need to build around them, things of that nature. Here's the point where I actually get upset because I really feel like most people aren't considering what this year was supposed to be. This was the prove it year. We all walked into this situation saying this was Justin's
Oh
prove it
yeah.
year.
Oh
We
yeah.
felt like he had his receiver. We felt like Tevin Jenkins is healthier. We got some dogs on the line. He's gonna have more time just for Luke Getzey to roll out there and have that team so unprepared and have thrown running routes. Like, what is this? That's the problem. This was the prove it year. Now, mind you, the reason why that was a prove it year, let's be real. It was a prove it year because of what? We traded the pick. When you trade back from the number one and you say
Yep.
I'm rolling with my guy, you're giving him all the support he needs right there. I'm buying into you. But what you didn't do was buy into him with the appropriate tools.
Yep.
That's the problem right there. And so now that's the issue I look at here because I for one, I've told people before, one of my goals as someone who's been in sales is I'm probably going to find a way to become an agent. Like I really love that side of the game. I love understanding how contracts play out. I love understanding how all of these cap spaces work. Like I really get nerd out over that stuff and I
Mhm.
get super technical, which is why I was like, I can't really talk about that on the live. But the unfortunate part is, like what Baki said, if it's literally a lateral move, that's more of an argument to trade him than to keep him. That's the sad part. I'm not saying that I want that. I'm saying that that's the sad part. If it's literally a lateral move to draft a new QB, you're inherently saying this. This guy is just as impactful as this guy, but this guy I don't even have to worry about for 5 years. This guy I have to pick up his fifth year option, and we're in a Daniel Jones situation. And how many Bears fans were in that Daniel was saying that the Daniel Jones situation made no sense? That's it's no even hate. I'm not even trying to dig at you
Yeah,
because of it,
nah,
but it's literally what
nah,
happened.
nah, I
Like
got it.
Daniel Jones was like in a proven situation, didn't really show much, didn't have much, right? Didn't have much. He also don't have the talent that Justin Fields has. Let's be clear on that one.
Yeah.
And they still
Mhm.
gave him they still gave him that contract, and everyone had a problem with it, right? You're
Yep.
literally going to be rolling into that situation. Now, again, I like Steve, I told you, I beat you to the punch. I already said he's not him. All right. I get it. But I'm just being real on both sides. It's an
Yeah.
improbable situation to be in, to have the same situation play back to back. Pose did an excellent job there. But some of the things that are being said about Justin just don't make sense. And let's be real, the only reason why I personally think Pose could possibly move off of Fields is the business side of football, and they did him wrong. Not because he can't play, not because he won't eventually be there, but probably because they don't feel comfortable giving him, let's be real, market money
Yeah,
for
you
what
don't
they've
want
seen, and
you
that's
don't want to
all their
give
fault.
him you don't want to give him and honestly to your credit, because I was fighting that take for a minute about him possibly getting the 40, because they obviously don't got to pay him tomorrow or this coming up year, but they do got to pick up the option. But it's just like you're in a sense where Justin is so talented. If you let him go and he gets with the right OC, he'll cook. He'll cook.
I believe
But
that.
th- but then there's also the fact of, which I feel like people forget. Even if you do bring in a Caleb or a Drake May or a Jaden Daniels,
Hey, you see what you just did right there?
what?
That's the other side. You said a Caleb Williams or a Drake May or a Jaden
Yeah, I
Daniels
mean,
or
because this is the thing. It doesn't have to be just Caleb Williams or Drake May. I keep trying to tell I do this. There's at least six QBs that you could realistically plug in and be like, hey, he's he's talented enough where, like, okay, if you feel like it, there's Caleb, there's Drake, and then there's this guy. You have your pick of the litter at QB. But the one thing I will say um that people don't give enough credit to, because it's two things I watch. One, Patrick Mahomes was on the shop, and then two, I watched the QB documentary on Netflix. Right,
yep.
both now. Y'all might be saying, well, what does one have to do with the other? Both of those things showed me, and they even said in that QB documentary, quarterback is the hardest position to play. Patrick Mahomes said that it's literally going to take somebody that's coming from college at least 6 years to learn whatever system. There's going to be a definite learning curve. So that's why I always kept saying, even if you do bring in a Caleb or whoever it's going to be, you have to make sure that pick hits, because with the way that Poles is building out this roster, it's like Kevin Warren said, I'm done being patient. Now I'm impatient. So now I got to see results.
I will say this though, and this is I'm not going to use anything that reflects my personal opinion. I'm
Mhm.
going to be very factual and black and white on this. We're having the same conversation they were having in Baltimore. They weren't going to pay him. Why? Availability was one, or what are you doing with your arm? All of those were real questions they had for Lamar Jackson. Like it didn't make sense. He was an MVP, but those were real questions. Am I lying?
The
Everyone
no,
was like, I wouldn't
no,
pay him.
no,
There was
no.
no teams trying to line up to get him. They thought that Baltimore was going to match it, but they also were like, exactly what Lamar Jackson are you going to get? And he was an MVP. He was an MVP. I remember watching those things. Now, listen, I see people. You can't compare him to Justin Fields. I'm not.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there is a certain style of QB that will never get the respect until they win. Like we're going to have to see a quarterback of that athletic ability win and win decisively before they really get the national respect. And I feel like Justin has not only that issue compounded with him, but he also has a system that wasn't catered to him. Because realistically, there is no difference between how Justin runs and how Josh Allen runs. The only difference is Josh Allen doesn't slide and he gets the call still.
Oh yeah, no,
Realistically.
he's not gonna slide because he's running you over. But
Hey,
nah,
now
but
listen, they were dogged. By the way, Jalen Hurts, you can't tell me that Jalen Hurts isn't. You can't tell me Justin Fields wouldn't look better than Jalen Hurts if he had that same protection system.
yeah, I think
You can't tell me.
I think with that is I feel like when he was trying to downplay that he was hurt, but we could all see that he was really banged up this year. Like that knee was not 100%, but pretty much all year. But the thing about the Lamar thing, yes, no teams were lining up to pay him, but Baltimore, I feel like, and we went back and forth on this already. I feel like Baltimore literally put themselves in that situation because it's like, okay, you're talking about his arm, but again, it's like I had showed you before. His only target that was getting open, and I gave y'all the advanced stats was Mark Andrews. They needed to go out and get him receivers, which they went out and did. And
Mm-hmm.
now once they go out and do that, I mean, you look at what he's doing now. I mean, he's about to get his second MVP. But I mean, so yeah, they were in those conversations, but they put themselves in those conversations. I feel like it was less to do about Lamar because you can also make the argument that the national media was begging for the Baltimore Ravens for years to put weapons around this man, and they finally did. And then look at what you got. So
Hey, they also don't have Greg Roman over there too, which is somebody that's interviewing for the Bears or interviewed for the Bears. I will have to say this: that Greg Roman thing scares me. All right, where there's smoke, there's fire. That
I
Greg
I
Roman
I, I
thing
can I can
scares the
I
crap
can
out of
see
me. Please
why.
don't.
I can see why it would, but they also the receivers in Baltimore at that time could not stay healthy, and they only had one target. So, like I said,
Hey,
maybe it's like I said yesterday. You build it out. Like if you build it out, get some more weapons around Justin. Maybe the scheme elevates to a certain extent, but it's just I mean it's a wait and see game. It's a wait
and
and
the
see
fun,
game. But I will say this: at my
you
heart of
don't have
hearts,
6 years though. I have to throw that out there.
you know what?
You no longer have 6 years to develop, and like
Oh no! Oh no!
seeing
Oh
what
no! You don't
seeing what Patrick Mahomes
because
said, I want people to understand the context in which he's saying it. Patrick Mahomes is saying that, and he's barely been in the league 6 years, right?
oh no, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like
no,
Patrick Mahomes came in
I'll
as a
show you the
stud.
I can show you the clip after this. Like
No,
not
I
like
I,
nah,
I saw it. I watched it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
loved everything he had to say, and I appreciate it. Like that whole series made me appreciate him more. And he's one of my favorite QBs. Like for
yeah,
real, Patrick Mahomes to me is going to be the second coming of Tom Brady. Like realistically,
right,
if you don't see that, I don't know what to tell you. Like that kid got it. Like he is him. But I will also say that he was also him when he started. And
yeah,
he started in his second year, and he was blazing 5,000 yards, if I'm not mistaken. And was let the like set the league on fire. So there's a big difference understanding where he's coming from
right,
as someone who's already had success in a wonderful situation to just be him. They let Patrick Mahomes be him. If Patrick Mahomes was in Chicago and he had to go through three different coordinators and three different coaches or whatever the situation is, three different coordinators, he would not be him.
yeah.
Like he
I
just wouldn't. And
the other
I'm not
thing,
saying he won't be good, but he won't
yeah,
be two-time Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion Patrick Mahomes. He just
yeah,
wouldn't.
yeah. I
That is
mean,
just wouldn't do.
I think another thing too that people forget, like he was able to because I think we talked about it yesterday as well. Well, Pat touched on it. He said nobody was calling uh like nobody basically knew Patrick Mahomes was a generational talent like coming out of the draft because he was like I'm gonna be real. he was at Texas Tech. Like I said, I've seen a couple of their games.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit up here and say that I'm sitting up here watching Texas Tech like that. But it wasn't until they were getting into the practices, he sits there. Andy Reid got Alex Smith, and literally everybody sitting up there saying, hey, we 11-5, but this dude, Patrick Mahomes, like he different. So it was literally, you know what I'm saying? He waited. He, like you said, he had a beautiful situation. You're like sitting behind Alex Smith, who pretty much is like one of the best vets in the league at the time. Andy Reid, who literally, hey, my offense is good enough. I don't have to throw him out there. And I don't have to throw him out there to get killed like they did, i.e., Justin against the Browns. And he could just sit, wait, and develop, see what he likes, see what he don't like, and he get help from Alex Smith. So hey, I mean, it worked out.
Yeah.
But it's also like you said, you're not getting that luxury of it. Oh, well, we're gonna get 6 years to develop a QB. Because the way that this Bears defense is evolving, like right before our very eyes, you might get two
Yeah.
at the least.
I will say this, and again, like the vid, y'all sit there, subscribe, and some people are not agreeing with that take right there. James said, Ringo, no, what? Hey,
No,
listen, I'm gonna let y'all have
no,
smoke right there in the chat. But
no,
again, we appreciate you all
no.
tuning in, man. Like the vid, man. Appreciate it. Helps the algorithm. It's helping us. It's because of you all we're actually able to hit 25K. And since then, we have blown past it. We're almost at 26. Bear down, man. Big ups to you all. We want to sit here and take this moment to actually shout out one of our best friends and brothers, Pat the Designer, simply because it's very rare you get a moment to just simply brag on your friends in a way that is just like, wow, like he had a I'm him moment. Today was Pat's I'm him moment.
Oh yeah,
The
I mean,
video he released on ESPN today
yep.
was a I'm him moment, whether he understands it or not. That was the most passionate, yet concise, yet factual version of Pat I've ever seen. If you're a DBZ fan, this was a Super Saiyan version. I mean, you that Super Saiyan. I'm not gonna say Super Saiyan God. I feel like he has a lot to it. He has a long way to go. I ain't gonna
Nah,
give him
that
that.
was
Hey, hey, hey,
that,
Pat, I love
hey,
you. I ain't gonna give you
that
all
was
of that.
the Bears arc right there. Hold on now.
Hey, hey, yeah. I ain't gonna give you all of that. I gotta knock you down a peg. I might be the Vegeta of this one right here. I gotta say, no, Kakarot. No, anyway, but say this, say this. But I will say this realistically, it was one of the best videos I've ever seen him make, simply because that's the Pat I know. That passion that he showed was literally the best. Pat in a room full of Bears fans resonates. His passion resonates so loud it shakes the room. Like
Absolutely.
you have to be there. You have to be there. You have to experience it. And we're gonna make sure that we throw some type of event for you all to really feel the passion he has for this team. He is a true Bears fan.
Hey, this
True
what it
Bears
was.
fan. First of all, I know when Goku turned Super Saiyan. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. I was there for the premiere. I'm that old. All right.
We wasn't sure.
I, hey, hey, I
You're not really the anime guy on
Come
the
on,
show.
my G. Like that's the one anime I do know about. I don't know about all this other stuff. Like I don't care about all this other stuff. But that's the one I do know. All right. Anyway, I just want to take this moment. I know we definitely want to do because that was a moment. And hopefully, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I saw the video, I didn't. I was like, does Pat realize he released this on ESPN? I was like, does he know this was on ESPN? Because I'm like, what is happening right now? Like what? Like this was a moment. But he did, man. He did. I don't know what Leonidas is saying right now, but yeah, interesting take. Interesting take. We're not going to be bothered by those in the chat that actually have something against what we're saying. We're actually bigging up Pat for his. I mean, it's a monumental moment. Realistically, it's a monumental moment to see someone really be the voice of the city. And if you looked at the comments on that video, please go check it out. It's literally Pat calling out David Kaplan over on ESPN 1000. It's a beautiful video. I just wanted to take this moment to actually give him his flowers because it's those moments right there. Everyone has a defining moment. I think in his story arc, this is the defining moment of his career with ESPN, and I just want to shout out to him. But we got to make a transition real quick. We're at the halfway mark of this video, and we're not going to spend too much time on this one simply because every time we talk about this team, the views literally go down. That's how bad they've been and how mid they've been. Is the window for the Chicago Bulls officially closed? I will give my thoughts after Ringo gives us his take. He looks like he's about to spit a hot 15, 16 real quick.
Hey, nah. So nah, honestly, it's done. It's done. It's done. Because I'm gonna tell you what the issue is. When we had that conversation about when Rudy Gobert was available, all these guys was available, Lonzo was hurt, Russ was still on the market. We said, hey,
Don't get me started, bro.
you gotta make something shake. AK was like, hey, nah, I believe in P Will. We gonna
No,
stick
bro.
beside him.
I can't. Don't get me started with that, dog.
Zach comes back now. They're literally talking about his no market. The Pacers got Pascal Siakam. I want y'all to know this. The Knicks had a deal. I don't know if it's true or not, but they had you could have got Quentin Grimes. Remember all those picks, all those players for
Yeah.
Zach?
Yeah.
Didn't do it then, didn't pull the trigger then, and now look at where you at. You can't even unload Zach, and it goes back to something that you said yesterday. At this point, OG Anunoby got moved, Pascal Siakam got moved. Bro, nobody wants you. Everybody else that's going to trade is probably going to get role players because guess what? Philly's in a good enough spot. They just went head up with with Denver.
Never. Yep.
Joel Embiid just dropped 40. If I can get that out of Tobias Harris, I don't need Zach. Just give me a bunch of role players.
Dog, I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is all right. So now I got to do it. I got to
Like,
do it. This is
you're
it.
cooked.
It won't be. This won't resonate with you all until the season's over, or until we definitively move him. And again, I could be completely off base. AK could be cooking up one heck of a trade, and I have to retract everything I've said. But until that happens, this is where we stand. You have so much redundancy at the point guard, shooting guard, small forward position that I don't know who is who any given time. I'm gonna ask you all this. DeMar DeRozan is a Hall of Fame, maybe fringe Hall of Famer, but he's definitively an all-star. Most of his career, we've known him to be an all-star caliber player. We've known him to be an all-star caliber player to do what?
Get bucks. Close in the fourth quarter.
He's a
Mid-range.
shooting
Assassin.
guard.
He's a
I
shooting
know that
guard.
we're in the positionless era, but when you have several people the same weight, height, and ability, they're going to do naturally what they've been doing. DeMar DeRozan's naturally been doing what he's been doing for 10 years. For 10 plus years, he was one of the best shooting guards in the league until he got with the Spurs. And that's only because Pop had to run a very different line of
It was a transitional period for them.
That's all it was. People saw that. I'm like, well, we want that DeMar. That DeMar was a shell of himself. He was depressed. He talks about his depression at times. But when you put him in a situation where he can sit there and do what he does, he is a shooting guard. He does exactly what you want Zach to do. When you have that much redundancy, it's not going to work. You want to know why we were never in on that Pascal Siakam trade? You want to know why? Like, for real, you really want to know why? Who did they just trade for before they got rid of Pascal Siakam?
Oh, the Raptors?
Yeah, who they just trade for?
They just got RJ Barrett.
Why would I put RJ Barrett and Zach LaVine on the same team when they're about the same height and technically try to do the same thing?
Yep.
I mean, RJ Barrett's a little taller. He may be 6'8", but what is he?
Oh, RJ Barrett, small forward, shooting guard.
Shooting guard.
Shooting guard.
I don't need another one. You know why Pascal Siakam was the guy we needed? Because he does something we don't have. We don't have a dominant forward.
Small forward.
We don't have a forward on this team.
What they got, kid?
Guards. That's all we have is guards. At the end of the day, we don't have it. We did had no trade value. The most valuable person to trade on our team was a bench player. Alex Caruso had more of a market than Zach LaVine. Alex Caruso don't start on half the league. So I say all this to say, not only is the window closed, but everything that we've heard about, not resetting, not rebuilding, stuff like that, that's cap. I don't know what they seeing, but the fans clearly can see this don't work. This doesn't work. But yet and still, that's what we roll out there with. So not only does now the Indiana Pacers get better, yeah, the Indiana Pacers got better. They may be like they're going to be a problem. We're going to see them. We got to go see them. And that's crazy to me. It's crazy that we sat there and really put faith. Like, here's the thing. Here's what I hope for with relating it back to the Bears topic. I hope that we don't. I hope I hope Ryan Poles doesn't make AK decisions. If
Oh,
Ryan Poles
I
makes
don't think
AK
they
decisions like
will.
AK made decisions for the Chicago Bulls, we in trouble.
I
Because we all came in believing that AK was going to turn the ship around, and I believed it. I saw what he built in, helped build in Denver. I was all in for it. I sat there and said, he did it there. There's a way for him to do it again, not realizing that guess what? Sometimes they're wrong, and AK has been wrong. Who was the point guard we were supposed to get? Who's the
Tyrese
point guard?
Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton.
No, no, no,
But
no, no. The point guard that we were supposed to get this offseason. Who's the point guard?
there's off season.
He barely taller than you, Javon Carter.
Oh yeah. But bro, like, hey, I to his credit, he was 3-and-D. I ain't
Three
seen
and D for
nothing.
what? The man's
I,
5'9".
I'm saying I ain't seen nothing. Hey, you know I had to walk my nickname back. But now look, I'm gonna tell you what it is though. What you said, and it's something that I've been trying to say for years now because I told y'all this before. You said AK did this in Denver, so we could have did it in Chicago. The Denver days were over. That was cooked. Like yes, he found Jokic, got Jamal Murray. He built that fine. He played around here, and it's like I said. I think like halfway through it, even before they got boots. The only reason why we the only reason why we gave AK the credit that we gave him at that time was because he made the Bulls a playoff team and had them a relevant destination for somebody to come here and possibly play. Outside of that, you ain't did nothing. You ain't really did nothing because it's like you kept saying when that whole Rudy Gobert thing went down, and I had to remember I had to walk back my statement. We said keep P. Will. Now you need to get rid of P. Will. If they got Rudy Gobert on the table, go get that. Okay, we knew that Lonzo was hurt. You knew that he was gonna be out 2 months. Russ was on the market. You
And
could have
that's the thing.
you could have went out and got Russ at that time. You didn't. You sat there and played around because you had faith that P. Will was gonna step up and be
And and
something. And
and
he
that's
in
a good
fact
point
not
right there.
step up and do anything.
And for those who I see this in the comments, they say, "What are we talking about?" Right now, we're talking about the overall state of Chicago sports, apparently, because again, if you look at the title, it literally says several of the Bears defend Justin Fields, which we actually talked about for about 20, 30 minutes. And then the second half was what is the window
Is
for
the
the
window
Chicago
closed?
Bulls closed. It's literally two parts. Reading is fundamental. You can keep up. It's there. You can keep up. Anyway, going back to what Steve-O said, like this is important. I do believe, I do believe that Ryan Poles, as a GM, had the guts to make moves to make his team better that AK has not had since he's been the GM of the Chicago Bulls. And if I had to rank them, I would sit there and say, hey, that's it. But I tell you one thing they both have in common. They both chose the wrong coach.
Hey,
Whether you think
hey,
Ryan Poles kept
he,
kept kept hired
you
Eberflus
know I
initially
don't. You
or
know I
not,
don't.
he kept him now. They both chose the wrong coach. And when you do situations like that, it don't matter who we have in basketball is a lot simpler than football. Guess what? The head coach is very much involved on both the offense and defense when it comes to basketball. When you have the wrong coach there, that's not going to work. And that is what infuriates me about the Bulls, is because it's clear. Hey, if you want to sit there and actually develop a bunch of young guys, then that's what you do. You go young. Kobe White looks great. Kobe White is also what, 24, 25?
Kobe is, I
Kobe's
think,
young. Zach Levine's
25
almost
years
30.
old, I believe.
Guess what? Zach Levine has a different timeline than Kobe White. He ain't trying to go through another rebuild when I was already part of the rebuild that was supposed to rebuild the rebuild. He's not trying to do that. He's trying to come into his own. Do you realize that by 28, some of his favorite players that he actually
Kobe
idolized,
White is actually 23.
he's 23. Still, he's 23. If you want to roll with the young guys, AK, guess what? Roll with the young guys. But simply put, don't sit there and mix this in a way that makes it so convoluted. And then once everyone's asking these questions, well, why is Zach playing this way? Zach is trying to make his name known. Guess what? DeMar DeRozan had his opportunity. He did. He made his name known. That's how the whole LeBronzo thing became a thing. You want to know why? Because he was the man in his town, and then LeBron came. Could never get over the hump. It is what it is. Whether he drafted him or not, guess what? Guess what? When you're the general manager, you have to make decisions and give your team an identity and a direction. I think we were trying to rebuild Denver. It ain't working. You now have to pick a side. And Malt, I agree with you. The Bulls are not good enough. They're not. But they also have three people trying to do the exact same thing. Kobe White is a shooting guard. He is not a pass first point guard. I don't care what nobody says. You argue with your mama. We were built off of needing a pass first
That's a
point guard.
fact.
We ain't got one. I hate this team. I hate Chicago Bears. I mean Bulls, not Bears. Bulls. I hate Chicago Bulls. I ain't gonna be honest, because I'm such a basketball fan that when I see it infuriates me to no end. Like I really can't watch it anymore. I can't. I can't.
It's just it was literally one of those things where we I have been of the mindset that if this team was at 500 or below 500 by the time they got to the All-Star break, you was gonna blow it up. And now you can't even trade one of the main pieces that you talked about trading. So it's literally one of those things where, I mean, it's exactly like you said. Poles had the guts to say, okay, well, I want to win. How do we get there? Hey, I got to make some tough decisions. Roquan, I love you. Staple of the defense. Uh, Probably the best linebacker. Next to Fred Warner. I've these last 3 to 4 years, but you turn around. Okay, I gotta move him. Let's get some other pieces on this team that are cheaper, younger, move a whole lot better, and then we can try to go from there. AK on the other hand, no, I mean P. Will nice. I think we should hold on to him, man. Like I can still see him giving us 20 a game.
The fact that he drafted P. Will, I still want to understand what was there. I still want to understand
I
what
don't.
was there.
It was defense. It was defense. I'm gonna tell you that, bro. When I first
Bro,
when
where's any of these people that he played? One of the most basketball ready people he drafted was Sonogo, wasn't it? In my opinion, Sonogo was a dog. He don't even use him. Now
yes,
that's a
yes,
Billy decision,
it's
but
a no
okay,
go doesn't get used, and it's like you said, like his peers in that draft passed him up. Like Devin Vassell was the second best player on the Spurs. Like
bro.
that Devin Vassell is going to continue to take a leap. But I mean, it's like I told Pat when AK first got here. I said, whatever pick he makes, that's how this team is going to be defined. And he's literally has just not panned out this
Hey,
entire time.
hey, Not only is this it's funny because it's so true, but like realistically, hey dog, DeMar DeRozan is 6'6", Zach LaVine is 6'6", Kobe White is 6'5", Alex Caruso I think is 6'5", Ayo Dosunmu is 6'4", if I'm not mistaken. The only tall people we have is P. Will, Vooch, and Drummond. Outside of that, our primary lineup consists of everybody 6'6" and below. Now there are some other tall
Oh.
things. I think Julian Phillips may be like 6'8", 6'7". I think no, I think he's 6'8".
No, you're right. No, you're right. It's only 3 people. That's sad. That's
Bro, hold
sad.
on, wait.
Drummond, because how tall is
Sonogo's
Julian?
small too. He like 6'7". Hold on. Do we not do we only have 2 7-footers? I mean, 2 7-footers is still good, don't get me wrong,
I
but I
don't think
mean,
Andre Drummond 6'10", I believe,
you're
six
not even
eleven.
7 foot. Hold on.
Yeah,
Bro,
no,
what is happening right now? Listen,
Drum ain't 7 feet.
bro. And James, I agree with you on this one. And I'm gonna end with this. I'm gonna end with this because anytime we start talking Bulls and it goes too long, I get it. The Bulls are not the talk of the town right now. We have to wait and see what happens with it. I get it. I just like basketball. Basketball is my passion. That's where you get the best of me here. But Lonzo Ball was realistically the only thing that held this team
Julian
together.
Phillips 6'7".
He's 6'7". When he went, how long ago was it that Lonzo Ball went down?
What, 2 years now?
2 years? I gotta check Twitter. If I'm checking Twitter, it's something there. Oh Jesus, I see
Hey,
Anthony
hey,
Edwards.
hey, Street Sports.
Woo!
I
Jesus,
said
that's a dunk.
Street Sports. I literally said AK thought he possibly could be a 20-point per game scorer, which is why Gobert, which is why he possibly never pulled the trigger on Gobert.
Hey,
Listening.
hey. 2.5 years ago, Lonzo Ball has been out the league. You ain't found another point guard to replicate him yet.
But
You
to
could have
me,
drafted one.
it wasn't about. To me, it wasn't even about replicating though. Like, I feel like Russ. I mean, obviously, that wasn't. Come on now, they wasn't going to the chip or nothing like that. But he could at least stabilize it
Russ does
at that
exactly what
time.
we. Hey, Russ does exactly what we needed. We
Yeah,
saw exactly what we needed in Patrick Beverly. It's just Patrick Beverly.
yeah.
That
It's
was it.
like
It's just Patrick
it's
Beverly. But
literally
we
a
saw exactly
more.
what we needed in Patrick Beverly. A pass first, set you up point guard.
Yeah,
That's what your team is created for. That's what it's created for. I got 3 people to do what I need to do with the rock. Kobe can get me 20. Zach can get me 25 to 30. Guess what? DeMar can get me 25 to 30. Vooch can get me 20 if I need it. I don't need another person trying to shoot the ball like that. I got enough.
he wasn't going to. And this is the thing. I also
Jesus.
feel like you kind of would have got. I mean, it's like you said. It was literally the same thing. Russ is going to grab the board and he's going to go. Which at that point you kind of didn't need to slow anything down. Were you going to lose something defensively? Yes, I absolutely. Because at that point, Lonzo was guarding 1 through 5. I think Lonzo and Caruso were like I think rated one of the best
We
back
were
duos defensively in the
facts.
league at that time. But you just needed somebody to stabilize that because you even I remember you even pounded the table for Mike Conley, and that didn't happen. So
Mike Conley would have fit on this team simply because he is a point guard, pass first. He can knock down a three. He's been a double digit, double assists. He's been a walking double double. He
yeah,
can do it, but he understands how to set up the players first. I'm not saying that Kobe White isn't going to be. Kobe White is a playmaker. He relies on his scoring ability first. There's nothing wrong with that.
right.
That's what he was in college. Go
Yeah,
back and watch. That's what he was in college. Let him hoop the way he hoop.
yeah.
That's how he hoop. Cool. I don't need 4 people do the exact same thing. You said, well, someone has to play point. That's why the only reason why people don't look at the Suns and say that that's going to work because they got 3 people who do the same thing. They just different heights.
Yeah. Nah, yeah,
Bradley
true.
Beal shoot. Devin Booker shoots. Kevin
Shoot,
Durant
shoot.
shoots. That ball is in the air. Now it may work out because they just have too much talent. But overall, if they was mid, like if all three of them was mid, it wouldn't work out. And that's exactly what we are. Mid. Hey, y'all. It's been fun. We started an hour late, but y'all still came through and supported. We
Y'all still
appreciate
rock
y'all.
with us.
Look at that. Listen, we was almost at 200. As soon as we start talking Bulls, they was like, yeah, let me check out
We
of
gotta
here.
get out of here.
Hey, this season's way too long for this one. Hey, listen, get rid of that. Like, no, we want more Bears talk. I get it,
Now.
but we have to keep it even keel because at the end of the
Oh
day,
man.
we talk all things Chicago sports. And so we appreciate everyone coming through. Shout out to my man Stefan the Don rocking with me again.
Yes, sir.
Hey, my man's over here. Hey, we might be bringing a live call back though. Might be bringing live. It might not be happening here. It can't happen here, but it might happen somewhere.
Hey, if it
We all
happens,
get in tune with that. So
hey,
we're gonna talk about that. But again, we appreciate
you know
everyone
I'm at.
for rocking with us. We will be back tomorrow, same time. Well, not same time. It's gonna be earlier. It's gonna be early. It's gonna be
Early.
back to the scheduled program. And
Definitely
you
early.
all get to give Pat his flowers then, give Stefan and Don his flowers. But again, we appreciate everyone. The studio is coming back. We got a lot of big things happening, and it's all because of you all. So again, we can't thank you all enough. Y'all be safe. Till next time.